Good morning, it's Consciousness Rising here, Rebecca and Natasha.
Good morning.
Hello if you're watching on Devon McKenzie Friends, Truth Pills, or on Yow Chow. Anyway, we thought we'd do our inversion video today because everybody seemed to be very welcoming of that.
Sort of like piqued their interest.
It did pique their interest. It's you've done a lot of research into it. It's absolutely rife, isn't it? This transgender.
Yes, and I think it's what people need to get their heads around. It's not just a little bit of it in some places. It is everywhere.
So pretty much, when you mean everywhere, you're talking sports people, entertainment,
American politics, definitely.
Yeah.
Anyone high up.
Yeah.
Probably quite a lot of English politicians as well. But I haven't looked into that enough. The only one that came up with anything was Matt Hancock.
Ooh.
It's apparently born female. Yeah.
Yeah.
So when we say born female as well, that's another thing, or born male. Another thing to remember with these types of transgenders is that this is done very, very young, sometimes in vitro.
In utero,
yeah.
I've heard, that they
vitro,
can...
that's a good word, isn't it? I said in vitro.
What's in vitro?
I don't know, I made it up. In utero, that's the word.
A new word. Yeah. So it basically, what you're talking about is they will start the process of changing the body and the hormonal makeup very, very young.
Yeah, so they'll wait until the 3-month part to know whether it is male or female.
Okay.
And then they can change, add in testosterone, add in estrogen, and start playing around at that point. So not all of it's done at that level, but some of it is. Mm-hmm. Other people are completely changed. They end up having their whole, all that stuff done. Lots of them, females especially, keep their wieners.
Yes.
And tape them and do stuff like that. They like to keep them. Obviously, they shrink a lot because of
they like that,
the lack of testosterone and the estrogen. Yeah. But some of them like to keep it. Some of them will have a male and female together, and the one who's considered male will actually have the children. They'll still be intact and still have their ovaries and still be able to have children.
Right.
As well. And an example of that I did find online was Britney Spears and somebody Ferdeline, whoever she was married to. So apparently he's female and he did have the children, yeah. But that doesn't happen all the time. A lot of them are bloodlines done in a laboratory.
Yeah. Or do they use surrogates or?
Yeah, so some of them, and they'll carry them into surrogates. I think they've probably got pods or something.
Yeah, and I saw a vid yesterday that's going around at the moment with Rihanna with the baby, and ridiculous. You could see the plastic.
And would you dress like that when you're pregnant?
No.
I mean, you don't make yourself into a horror show, do you, when you're pregnant? You don't have that desire.
I felt like a horror show anyway when I was pregnant.
Yeah, but would you wear all that black? Exactly. You wouldn't do it. It's the female brain wouldn't be programmed to do that.
No.
You have comfort, you look after your baby, you don't stagger around looking like an absolute horror show.
In a black neck curtain.
And Beyonce did the same as well, didn't she, when she was pregnant? I mean, it's just...
And when you look at them, it's very smooth. With
no freckles, what's that line, the black line? I had
the black line.
Niggerous something?
It's a pigmentation, isn't it?
And where it opened.
And your belly button pops out, and it
stretch marks.
Stretch marks. It just doesn't look real. No blemishes there. It's all smooth and plastic.
It's really strange,
it's becoming very obvious if you know what to look for.
Yeah, it is. I mean, so we have to think all entertainments, think everyone from like Jennifer Lopez to actresses to... Even like we call them loosely women in the UK. We have a show called Loose Women. Look at people like maybe Kate Garraway, all these very heavy black eye makeup that they wear. Look at them. They're not feminine people. Yeah. They're not feminine. They've got very, very masculine.
And all of the models, 6 foot odd models
Victoria's
now.
Victoria's secret is they've all got willies.
They're all men.
Yeah, they're all men.
Yeah.
They're all... So it's like they're genetically men, but they've lived their lives as women probably from a very, very young age. So it's a very strange thing to get your head around.
And if you've had a full thing from very young, would you even know?
Do some of them... I mean, there's different levels, like I said. Some have got their bits intact, some haven't. Some know that their mum and dad is the opposite gender as well. And this is the thing that I think a lot of us can get our heads around, the transgender being men to women, because they did the whole ladies' boy thing, didn't they, in Thailand, and let's be honest, they do make attractive women, or what we have been now led to believe are attractive women. But the other way around is equally as rife. So we've got to think about people like Johnny Depp, Brad Pitt, Leonardo DiCaprio. They are, if you go down this rabbit hole, genetically females.
Yeah.
And then you start looking at pictures of them, and they are short, and they've got very, very short legs, and
and they're pretty.
And they're pretty. Yeah. They are very, very pretty.
Yeah. All these pretty boys that are quite short.
So it works both ways, which people are definitely going to find harder to get their head around.
Yeah. How do you grow a penis? That's what I don't get. Or do they not have one?
They, no, I think they can. There's surgery for it. Surgery works
one.
Both ways. I don't know. I think they do something with the clitoris. The testosterone makes the clitoris bigger.
Pull it out.
And it obviously won't be a very impressive one. And then you can be a bit gross, won't it? And then of course you can make anything out of plastic surgery. Think about it. They could easily make aesthetic balls.
Yes.
If you think about it, because that's all it would be. It's
the
and then also the porn industry is another one. They're meant to be swapped as well, and that's quite a rabbit hole to go down to. And obviously the work there works very well because you see penises.
Oh. Mm. What, false, pretend, not, but grown ones?
Grown ones or
I mean, I don't watch porn.
No, I don't either.
That's making me think, I just want to watch to see
what it's like. But yeah, apparently, but I haven't gone all the way down that rabbit hole, but it was just something I read up about, that it's the porn industry as well as the... Because
the porn industry to me is very satanic.
It is.
It's about this subversion of the true meaning of,
turning it into something
physical union.
Quite horrible, isn't it?
It doesn't surprise me that there's a lot of inversions in the porn industry.
Definitely. So I thought we'd look at, the skeleton will always betray somebody's gender.
Yeah.
You cannot, they can do fillers, they can have hormone things, they can do all these different things, but you cannot change your skeleton.
The structure of your being.
Yeah. So basically, female bodies, they have angled clavicles.
Yes.
So,
which we showed last week.
Yeah. So you've got an angled clavicle like that, and they're generally short, thin, and they're kind of V-shaped.
Yeah.
And our hip line falls at the crotch or just below.
The waist, widest level. Mean?
Yeah, the waist, the hip line.
You said the crotch.
Why did I write?
I don't know.
Hip line falls at crotch or just below. I've written there.
But you mean the waist?
The widest level. Yeah, otherwise it'd be a bit strange, wouldn't it? If your hip line fell at your crotch. Or do they mean this bit?
Oh, the lower hip.
Yeah. It's the
hip. My hips, I've got big hips.
You've got big hips.
Yes.
Anyway, ignore that. The femur bones are angled like a triangle, so that's your legs.
Because we've got wider hips.
Yeah, and we need that.
Bone has to come in like that. Yeah.
And then the female gait, so when you walk, you don't have a space in between your legs. We naturally
swing over.
Just walk. If you were in the sand, your footprints would be as a female in front of each other rather than side to side.
Bit like a catwalk model.
Yes, and that's why they exaggerate that movement, these men, on the catwalk.
Because they have to learn to walk like a woman.
Because they have to walk like that, and that's why it's so exaggerated, and it looks like a catwalk.
And also it gives a hip swing for
them.
and
it gives the shape of having this sort of like waist,
Yes.
And then the female skeleton, so that your foot swings outwards as well, like that. No, it kind of goes out.
What, as you're walking?
Yeah. It like sort of like... So it's to sort of like propel yourself,
it's
if
like
you like.
A swagger.
Because you've got like a curved back as well.
Yeah.
And it propels yourself to go forward, so we have like a slight movement like
that
in our gait. The skull is generally small and oval. We have vertical foreheads. We don't have big pronounced brow bones. Eyes tend to be closer together and more forward set. Cheekbones are actually lower than what we are led to believe. This high cheekbone thing again is another model thing that's come out. Probably
to
because
make
they're male.
them look like they're women.
Yeah, well, I just think males do have a higher cheekbone, and once you've done all the hormones and stuff, they end up with that. That's why supermodels have those faces that we don't have.
Yeah,
us normal women don't have. So we generally have a smaller mouth but fuller lips, and a softer jaw and a more pointed chin. And from the side angle, if you were to look, it would form like a capital J.
Here it is. There's your J.
Yeah.
So you get like there's a curve here, kind of thing. Yeah.
Natural curve there.
Yeah.
And then female arms, they don't hang straight.
Yeah, they come slightly
because
out.
Because they can't, because they have to accommodate for the hips.
Yeah.
So we have like a slight, call it like arms akimbo.
Yeah.
I suppose, not legs akimbo. Arms akimbo.
We would do that.
No. And that's to account for the swinging.
And also you said to me that, because I was a bit paranoid about my arms being male, but when you cross your arms over your hands, if you're female, fit exactly over your crotch.
Yeah, your palms will fit at your crotch area.
Yeah, whereas a man's, it'll be the wrist.
At the wrist.
Will be over your
so they
crotch
almost
area.
get like a hand.
They've got a
hand
hand
bit
extra.
longer. Notice again all those very long-limbed
women
models and women. And also, if you have hormone therapy, I wrote it down. If you have, so lack of testosterone results in the bones that don't harden properly, and therefore you get unusually long limbs. Oh. So that's they're born male. You take the testosterone away,
their limbs
and
will
their
grow.
Limbs, they carry on growing because it doesn't harden. Like the testosterone is vital in that.
In
sort
doing
of thing.
that.
Yeah. So I thought that was and a lot of it. These people, they're basically bioengineered, surgically enhanced, hormoned
freaks.
things, aren't they?
Yeah.
Basically, at the end of the day. So male bodies, so the clavicles are long, thick and straight across.
Yeah.
They have an Adonis belt, which is, it's like connective tissue. It's not actually muscle. So you can't actually train the Adonis belt like people think, because it's not a muscle, it's connective tissue, and you can't make connective tissue grow.
You can't make it bigger, you can't
Can't
work
make
it out.
grow, no.
Yeah.
Women, to an extent, we all have an Adonis belt, but as aren't pronounced the same with an Adam's apple, we all have a slightly thickened area of the trachea.
There's mine.
So we have Adam's apples, we have Adonis belts, but there's something in the testosterone, I'd imagine.
That makes it bigger.
Yeah, that makes the bigger here and makes the Adonis belt more pronounced. And it is more V-shaped than a women's one. A women's one's very slight.
Yeah, because
it's a very slight
so
angle.
It's more like that.
And you have to have very low body fat for anyone to see an Adonis belt, even in males. You know, because it isn't a muscle, you can't big it up. You have to reduce what's around it for it to show.
For it to show up.
Yeah, but it is a male trait. You know, most males you'll be able to see it, whereas females, you might get the odd athlete, somebody with very low, which you could.
Yeah,
but it
like
still
a
wouldn't.
Runner or something.
We'll explain a bit later, won't we? But the shape's still different.
Yeah,
it won't different.
Be a male Adonis.
Yeah,
belt. Yeah.
So they have narrower hips, so they don't have the Q angle. They have a very slight Q angle if they do. So that's at the top of the top of the legs there.
Top of the thighs.
The legs get thrown straight out, so causing like space between the legs. So if they were to walk in the sand, they'd be like that, like a tin soldier.
Yeah.
Like how a tin soldier is, rather. So the women's would be in line,
over,
and the men's. So if you have a male and a female genuine walking in the sand, you'll see the footprints.
How they're
you'll be
different.
able to tell.
Yeah.
And it's important to know that as well when they dig up and do like fine bodies and stuff. It's the Q angle, the width of the hip, how they find out if you're female
whether you're male or female.
So it's not just a, you know, it is a forensic or a, yeah, it is what it is.
It's a forensic fact.
It is a fact indeed.
Like
So they obviously have larger skulls, men's. They have a brow ridge that almost looks like there's a cap over the eyes, if you like. You get like, and the heavy sort of like brows, if you like. More square framed, a wider, fatter chin, and the male jaw from the side would form a capital L.
Yeah, it's
like
much
that.
more.
Yeah, so you'd get this bit would then go like that.
Yeah.
Hence, think Jennifer Aniston, think Angelina Jolie, think Megan Fox. Think of what their shape.
Keira Knightley.
Yeah.
She's got a very square jaw.
Very, very square jaw. So more angular, and the cheekbones are likely to be higher than the women's, which again we said about how that perhaps. And then male arms, they're very long, thick, muscular, and they hang straight because there's no hips in the way.
To go.
So when they stand like that. And they have thick, squarer wrists than what women do. So that skeleton don't lie.
The skeleton don't lie.
You don't lie, that skeleton.
And you can't change your skeleton.
You can't change it. Another thing as well is male to female. So when they have their breast reduction, it's not that people might think that's the last part of the surgical transformation, but actually they do it right at the beginning because the mammary glands can be taken out
when they're children.
I'm not sure. Yeah, I think they're young prepubescent turning
so
into
10, 11 or something.
Yeah, just prepubescent, and it's a horrible thing.
So they just take the mammary glands out.
They take all of that out, but they have to more than often all take the nipples off and stuff like that, which is why when you start looking at David Beckham's a really good example. Look at David Beckham's nipples. They're
wonky.
We're not born with like wonky nipples and nipples. They don't go up.
No.
They don't. Do you know what I mean? Nipples are just there, aren't they? Like,
yeah, just nippling
just
around.
Just nipples. And also there's some surgery scars as well. So they tend to have the quite big scars. It's quite a nasty operation. It's butch. I've got some pictures to show you. It's massive. They cut all the way across and they have to take the nipple off and they have to get all of it out and then they restitch it and put the nipples back on.
So hence why if someone's got wonky nipples or one looks a bit squashed.
Yeah, and they quite often point down,
flat.
or they're just tiny, like these great big men. And if you not notice, a lot of these men all have tattoos on the top half of the body.
Yeah, to cover,
and it's to hide the scars and just to make you look at that rather than
going, oh, your nipples are wonky,
or
mate.
like, oh, they're a bit titty, because some of them still keep a bit of titty, don't they?
Titty. You're looking a bit titty, mate.
Keep their racks a bit. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
A bit racky. So
because
so
it
what?
can look like your. Is it pecs that men have here?
Yeah. Yeah, but they'd be saggy pecs, wouldn't
yeah,
they?
they're
Because
not
it's
going
breast
to look.
tissue.
Yeah, they're not going to look firm.
Yeah.
Pecs.
So you've got to think. So all of these people, and I think it's easier to, I mean, giving someone testosterone, for instance, a female testosterone, we could look like a man probably in 12 months. But I mean, full on beard.
Oh.
I think.
Should we do it just for a
try
laugh?
it? Yeah, should we do it? Should we see what we're going to look like? I mean, you know, it's incredible. Like Russel Brand's a classic example. We'll share a video here of him that somebody did a trans analysis on him. and my God, how female is that body?
Yeah, he's always been hippie
Oh,
to me.
he's so female.
He's got a
so
waist.
female. But because he's got this good beard and hair and body hair, we just automatically...
But, and also, he's got a reputation for being a ladies' man and shagging everything with a pulse. I mean, how does that work? Do you think he was shagging everything with a pulse? Or was that all just part of
No, or they're all in on it. Don't forget his circles. He was married to Katy Perry.
Oh, well, yeah.
She's a male.
Yeah. And
so they're all in on it. They don't have sex. These aren't relationships. They are handler stroke.
Business.
It's all to deceive us. They're all put there to deceive us. You know, and whether it's to do with because they all worship Moloch and, you know, obviously they believe in 3 sexes, and the third sex is the powerful sex. The male and the female are underneath this transgender abomination that they are and that they worship. So whether it's just for their own religion and just whatever it is that they believe in, but I think it's bigger than that. I think the deception is massive on us as well.
Yeah, it's huge.
That's all part of ritualistic stuff, I suppose.
Yes.
The fact that they're fooling us all into
believing
and
that
fancying, getting males to fancy males. I mean, it's pretty gross, isn't it? Really, if you sort of think about it. So what I thought I'd do...
Yeah, so
I've got some
unwittingly,
pictures.
there's guys at home.
Oh, look, fancying Jennifer
dribbling
Aniston.
over,
It's a classic. And Megan Fox.
And then
Angelina Jolie.
what they're doing is lusting after her.
And if you look at Angelina Jolie, her mum, and the daughter Shiloh, have you seen that picture of all 3 of them? They are the same genetics.
It's a clone. They're clones of each other.
Absolutely. I mean, her mother was the most beautiful, I think, and then they've got slightly less attractive, in my opinion.
And when I look at my daughter, for example, you can see there's family things, but we're not a carbon copy of each other.
No, I don't see. No,
you know,
I don't see.
Your children are... Sometimes I see my brother in her or my...
Yeah, they're not identical. That picture I saw of them 3 was identical.
It's crazy. The nose, the mouth, the shape of the eyes, they're out of the same test tube.
Yeah, definitely. Right, so shall we have a look at... What do you think about... We've got Kate Middleton and Wills there. So you can see her straight across clavicles there. Can't really see what Wills has got there, but he's quite a little bit, he's a bit hippie, isn't he?
Yeah, he's got a bit of hip.
He's a bit hippie. Now, I think she looks quite masculine, personally.
She's got the long limbs, but...
And she stood there with one knee bent, so you get the curve on one
the
side.
hip, yeah.
So it looks like she's got a nice waist there. But they're an interesting couple. That might be one that make people go, oh, no. And then if you look at her, oh, no, not the royal.
Not the royal
family. There's a nice side profile of her there. She's got very wide trachea.
Oh, that looks like an Adam's apple.
Yeah, quite a male jaw. Her brow bone's quite...
Yeah, she's got an L-shaped jaw.
Yeah, and look at her brow bone's very defined, isn't it? And I know what they've done now, make us all have these big slug eyebrows to make us think it's normal.
Have,
and that's what, you know,
sluggy
we're all meant
eyebrows,
to do. Yeah, big, heavy ones, which, you know...
I mean, I've got heavy eyebrows,
no, but they're
that's
not,
just my
not
colouring.
like the ones that they put in. And then... I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll just go through everything I've got. So this one here is a really good example. Look at that man, girl, whatever you want to call it, its belly button.
Very high.
Very, very high up on the body. That's not where a male's belly button would be. Now, the Adonis belt is quite apparent.
Yeah.
So that could be implants, or it could just be low body weight. And, you know, but it is quite high up. The female Adonis belt is more where their hip bone is.
Yeah.
And if I
his tits,
do this, look at his nipples.
Yeah, they're pointing down.
So they're pointing down, and if I look
and they're quite big for a man's
they're
nipples.
Just a bit weird. You can see scars as well.
Yeah, you can see the scar.
Yeah.
There.
Underneath there. So that's I don't know who he is.
We don't know who you are, but you've got titties.
And there's a runway model. Look at the clavicles on that. Straight across. Can you see that? She's probably Victoria's Secret one.
Yes, I mean they are.
They are dead straight across. That's a male.
Yeah, just going straight across.
Male.
Yeah.
Male body there.
Male.
Oh, this is Sharon Stone, Basic Instinct.
Oh, I've seen.
So here she is, just chilling out on her yacht.
We might have to zoom in on that.
I'm just going to zoom in, and she's got what appears to be an escapee bollock. Looks like one of the boys fell out the barracks. To me.
Yeah.
Can you see it?
She's got a runaway ball.
And what was she in? Basic Instinct. Make it showing in between her legs. So another
So they must have used a body double for that shot.
And probably it's deceiving, isn't it? It's making all these men
lust after a man.
After. Now this is an interesting one. The McCanns. Look how female his face is. Look how
how male is hers. Very square. Straight clavicles.
And he is a high up Freemason.
Yes.
And there's pictures of him in red shoes.
Yes.
So they're deep in the
agenda. Bad.
They're very bad. But yeah, they're an inverted couple. Classic example of an inverted couple.
Yeah.
Ooh, Posh Spice. Look at the clavicles on there.
Straight
Now, they're a
curves.
bit strange. I do wonder if she's had a bit of added to those. I don't know. But look at the demonic face on that.
Yeah.
And it's actually, I've tried to look for photos of her in bikinis and I can't find one. And I'd imagine it's because she's got a very exaggerated
That's
Adonis
interesting, though, that there's nothing of her in bikini.
Can't find anything. So Jennifer Aniston, everyone's like lusted after her. We can see her Adonis belt there. We can see how she's standing to one side again, which is what they do to get it looking like a curve.
And she's got that very
She's
square
deceived
jaw.
a lot of people, hasn't she?
Yeah.
Now, there's J-Lo on a boat with a very flat back. Women do not have flat backs. That's a man's back.
Yeah, because we have a curve, don't we?
Yeah, so we can have babies.
So we can have the babies.
Yeah. So that's a male back without a shadow of a doubt. Oh, and then we've got there's Jennifer Aniston there in her bikini, and then we zoom in, and there's something in her pants.
Ooh,
A little mini one.
That's a little winky.
A little transgendered sort of, one of those.
One of those.
What's her name?
Oh, that's Kate Beckinsale.
Yes, there's Kate Beckinsale.
But no waist whatsoever.
No, and also with these Adonis belts, they just for a woman to get an inkling of an Adonis belt, be whatever, they'd have made their body fat would be so low, and
They'd be skinny.
but their muscles would be really well defined. That's a little pot belly. That's a female. That's a male pot belly. When males get like little pot bellies.
Little pot belly.
And there's J-Lo, another sort of classic.
What,
unrealistic physique again for a woman in her 50s to have.
Oh,
Keira Knightley and her boyfriend. Now he looks female to me.
And look at her Adonis belt.
Yeah, let's
Can we zoom in on that because she's a good example.
Look
I mean, that's not a female body, is it?
And that's the other thing they did to deceive us, is wear these low slung jeans.
Yeah.
So that it made their belly buttons, I think, look in proportion.
Yeah.
So it made their bodies look. Britney Spears is another classic example. She's got that type of body.
And Pink. Have you got any of Pink?
Yeah, Pink. She is,
so male in her physique.
Oh, there's a trachea. So these are the operations that they have, these trachea operations. What they do is they do it. You know how we've all got natural lines on our neck?
Yeah.
So they'll use one of those lines.
Go in on that
so it looks. And there's one of Jennifer J-Lo.
Oh, so she's
and
not long haired.
You can see her scar there. And look, that's her without a filter and stuff on.
Yeah.
She's an old man. Or not an old man, a middle-aged man.
It gets harder as they get older, doesn't it?
Yes, I think the hormones.
Yeah, I think because obviously when you go through your menopause, your hormones will change and that. So they're going to go through something like that.
Adonis
yeah, she's just very, very...
Very much so. Like, very, very much so. So another one that's just quite interesting is the other royal couple. Now look at his Q angle and look at her non-Q angle. So they're inverted.
And actually, there was that picture going around, wasn't there, with when she was pregnant, she walked along the bump actually fell down.
Bump fell down. Now, these are the post-op pictures of the young men. It's not very nice, really, but this is what they do to their little bodies to get rid of the breast tissue.
Oh.
So it is barbaric, really. And then we've got David Beckham here. So there's David at the bottom. And look at his funny nipples. They're very, very strange, and you can see scars, and they're puckered.
They look too far apart as well.
Yeah, they're puckered.
Like,
they're not...
they're supposed to be sort of in line with your ears, I think, your nipples.
You'd think so, wouldn't you?
Well, if you trace down, I think that's actually
an
anatomical thing. It's in line with your earlobes.
Yes, sounds right. So then we've got Natalie Portman with her straight across clavicles there.
Yeah.
Again, very male. And then we've got, this is Liam Hemsworth. And if you look in there, you can see his V-shaped clavicles. So that's a female skeleton. What else have we got? Pierce Brosnan. He again, can you see there? Very, very strange nipples. Lots and lots of hair to cover it. Probably can't see it, but he's got again these weird puckered nipples. And then you've got Simon Cowell.
What? Oh.
And you can really see his scars in the bottom picture there.
Yes.
So.
And that's why, because Simon Cowell wears his trousers in a really weird way as well, doesn't he?
He really, really does.
Really, really hard.
Oh, that's a good one. So Tom Hanks, female clavicles and a female body. Look at that.
Oh, yeah, you can really see his clav.
See how female that is.
Yeah. And then, he's another little guy, isn't he?
Yeah, another little. And then you've got Cameron Diaz with her sort of very male and her straight down arms, look. And her straight across clavicles.
Yeah.
Julia Roberts with a very male flat back.
Yeah.
That's not a female.
There's no bum really there.
No. That's a very
because
male body.
if your back is straight like that, your bum is not gonna kind of curve out like.
No. Rob Lowe with his female clavicles.
Yeah.
Very, very female.
Well, I always thought he was another pretty boy.
Yeah, exactly that. We've got Putin there with some potential breast scars. There we go.
Is that the original Putin or the one we've got now?
God knows.
That's the question.
Whoever he is, he should have had boobies. Charlie Sheen.
Oh, I can't look at those. I'm going to have to...
Charlie Sheen.
Oh, no, it's the top one.
Yeah,
I can't.
That one.
We don't know who he is.
We don't know who that is, but that is gross.
That is...
I don't think they got all the mammaries out.
No. They left some with his.
Yeah, and you can see Charlie Sheen scars. So, I think that's enough for us to show you. And what you can do now is do your own research into it.
Yeah.
We'll put a couple of links because there's a couple of people that we like and who we've looked at who have done little things. Oh, I was just going to quickly show, because we'll put a video up about Russel Brand.
Yeah.
But that's very
female,
isn't it? Very female body.
And look at the length of his arms. His hands are at his crotch.
But we'll put a little link to a lady pulling him apart because it's a good one. Yeah.
Wow.
So there we go. But yeah, just to remind us, pink.
So basically, it's part of the satanic agenda to completely mess up the genders.
Yeah.
And I think as well...
And to have the third gender, which is considered...
The third gender, which is Baphomet.
Yeah, and that's considered the highest
manifestation of Baphomet. And all of this, all this woke stuff with, people being whatever sex they feel like being that day. And
let's to normalise it all.
Normalise it all. And also it's a bit of it's a psyop, but it also, if you dare to speak out about it, then you're like, you're not being politically correct. But I want to be... But actually, if you feel like being fit... I mean, I'll be honest, sometimes I dress like a bloke.
Yeah, but that's fine.
But
that shouldn't define you, should it?
No, it doesn't define me.
Having cock and balls does.
Yes.
Strange that, but it does.
But, are we going to draw on you?
Yeah, should we do an example?
Yeah, let's do an example. I'm going to put the mic down, which means you probably won't be able to hear
Shall
us.
I hold the mic? Let me take my top off.
Well,
sorry, I'm going to...
She's stripping off!
I'm stripping off!
But we're just proving that Tash is female.
Because I've got a body that could be...
Well, you've got a very muscular body, so you're a good example.
A boyish figure. I've got a boyish figure, I'm told.
Who told you that, Tash?
Good point. Right, I'm going to move my chair back.
Move your chair back.
Excuse my bum.
That wasn't it. So you have to get your bum up a bit higher.
Oh, good.
But look at, let's do the curvature of your spine first.
Right.
Because look, Tash's back is not straight. It's going... Oh, hang on, move that arm forward. That's it. You can see here, she goes in here, and then she comes out.
And I have got a few spines.
Yeah, so Tash is actually less pronounced than mine would be.
So, clavicles.
This is a permanent marker pen.
That's all right.
So Tash's clavicles, should I draw on the real one?
Yeah.
Starts there and goes down to there. If she was a man, it would go to here, wouldn't it, Tash?
Yeah.
Because men are designed to lift stronger weight.
Exactly.
So they need that clavicle lower.
So even though I am broad, I do have very broad shoulders and, quite pronounced thingies, they are still V-shaped.
Yeah.
Female ones. Just about.
Female, she's a female, she's definitely a female.
Right, so even though I don't have particularly...
What? Big
much of a waist or hip ratio difference, it is different. I'm going to have to put that down.
On the table and we'll shout.
So if I just roll this down, just so you can see.
So
you could say is that
your hips are there.
An Adonis belt as well. There you go.
Yeah, I mean you're very toned because of your yoga, right? But your hips are here. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you were male, your Adonis belt would start here, wouldn't it?
Yeah. And it would go across and go down into a V. So it's like that.
Sorry, Tash.
That's all right. And then go down into a V into the crotch.
Yeah. Whereas your hips are there.
Yes. So even though you can see a bit of definition, and some people might say, oh, that could be...
Yeah, but you're very slim and you're very toned.
A little bit.
You faint a little bit.
So yeah, your Adonis belt would be like that. So some people will have implants here, females, to bulk this bit out to give that effect that you get like that. And then of course, so there, if I pull that back up again and do that, so shoulders. So my shoulders could look like they're wider.
But if you look, I'm going to just do that.
Yeah, they're not. They're back exactly the same size.
The ratio is perfect.
But to look at, you might initially think, oh, she's got really broad shoulders and narrow hips, but actually they're the same.
Yeah.
They're the same thing. And then the positioning of, so we also have smaller
Ribs.
higher rib cages.
Yeah.
Which you can
So
see
the
there.
male ribs will come down about a little bit further.
Yeah, and ours sort of stay there. And then belly button, so it's generally either at the waistline or slightly below on a female.
I bet the guys would so the guys, hang on, let me get this right.
Would be lower.
The guys should be lower down, like here.
So when you quite often see these transgender people, they do have very high.
Yeah, I mean, I do
high
notice
belly
that
buttons.
with some men. You think, wow, you got a high belly button. Now I know why.
Yes, that's it.
Yeah.
So
And just turning around, because you're not like turn around completely. You're not big. You're not hip. You know, I'm a bit more hippie than you, but you've still got that actual definition of an arse, as in here. Sorry, Tash, touching you. But you know what I mean? Even though
it's small, we'll shape as
that. Yeah, so even though Tash has got a pert bum, she's got that, excuse me squeezing you, but that, which is female. Men do not have that, do they?
And then you can see the gap between the legs. Can you see that?
There it is. Oh, yeah. Stop. Oh,
there.
There.
So that was part of the Q angle. So
There's-
males generally won't have that. Their thighs will.
You can see
do
through
more
there.
actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can sort of see.
Oh, that was nice.
Oh, was that nice?
Well, just funny.
And the other thing is, if you can see my scapulas.
Oh, yes,
So
these.
female scapulas are set further apart. You do that than male ones. Can you see there's quite a gap between mine?
Yeah, so you're talking about here.
Yeah. Whereas in males that would be closer together.
I didn't know you had a tattoo there.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. It looks like sperm on my back.
It's a snake, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. So what you're saying is that these...
This gap here in between the
Is that because men have bigger...
They're
for-
bigger, yeah.
for
and they're
lifting?
used to, they'll fit because the scapula joins to the head of the humerus and the clavicle bone, and that's all used for like lifting and holding our bodies up and stuff like that.
Yeah, so they're
men's
going to
are
have bigger...
broader and wider, and they don't have such a gap in the middle. A little gap,
But not
but
like
no,
ours.
Not like that. Yeah. There we go.
There we are. We know now
shall
for
get
sure that Tash is female.
I'm a female.
She's definitely a female.
Definitely one with a boyish figure.
Well, I wouldn't say boyish.
No.
No, you're very, very toned.
Size, yeah, I think it's a small size 6, so maybe that's why it comes across as boyish.
Yeah, you don't have much body. You don't have any body fat, really, do you?
A little bit of a covering. Keeps you warm.
You know, but you know, not. And you do a lot of yoga, which.
Well, I haven't been doing that actually for a very long time.
Oh,
About
now
the
she
last
tells
6 weeks.
us.
Sorry, no, this is quite a loose body for me.
Is it?
It's a bit loosey goosey.
This is Tash untoned.
Probably more feminine actually than usual. I'm probably a little bit more.
You think?
Yeah. So this is the feminine Tash,
Ah.
not the. What could I be? I could be the transgender Tash with an Adonis belt.
Can you not though?
No,
Please don't.
definitely not. Yeah.
Okay.
I hope that was helpful. Sorry if you didn't want to see my midriff, but you did.
I think it's a very nice midriff. And now when you're watching people on the TV, you know what to look for to see whether they are actually male
And just do
or
some
female.
digging. Yeah, just do some digging.
Do
The
some-
skeleton cannot lie.
Yeah. And it's all part of the Kabbalistic agenda, isn't it, Tash? It is.
I hope they all come tumbling down
Oh, they will.
soon.
They will soon, won't they?
Because it's a real hard one for people to get their heads around this transgender thing. Because they just don't understand why. They've never, until you delve deep into the whole
Rabbit hole.
who is ruling the world and what is ruling the world.
But also, we don't. I don't know. I suppose we don't want to think that everyone on TV is.
No, and you do think, why? What's the point?
Yeah.
Why would you be like that? But then, of course, you realise that they created entertainment. You think about before mass Hollywood and all this singing and all this crap, it was the royal families that were considered the entertainment and who people look up to.
They were the celebs.
They
weren't
were the celebs back then. Yeah, all the different royal families, and they've just.
And when you look at some of the old pictures of them, you can see it that they're
Oh my God!
either very ugly women or.
Well, they're all the royal family. They're all inverted as well, anyway. All of them, as we know, all of the Spanish, all of them. They all are. They're all, whether they were genuine at one point and they're all infiltrated, we'll never quite know.
And I guess if you're born into it and everyone in your circle is that
we're
way.
the weirdos to them.
Yeah, they're
I
like.
suppose. But that's why they look down on us, because we're just a gender of male or female.
Yeah.
We're not.
We haven't got that.
We haven't got this third.
superior
Yeah.
in their eyes.
Yeah.
Superior.
So
sex.
weird. It is the weirdest rabbit hole. But
One of the most interesting. We like weird rabbit holes, don't we, Tash?
we do.
We do.
So get researching.
Get research.
Get your tranny on.
Yeah, get your tranny on and do check to see what gender you are.
Yeah,
That's the first thing I did. I was like, am I really female? It's just so silly, isn't it?
Funny,
I was
isn't
like,
Yeah,
really
check
paranoid.
what gender you are.
Yeah.
And then also just Yeah, I always say look into the other way around, the ones, the female to male, because I do think that is.
Yeah, I find that harder to
and you
get
think
my
of
head
like,
around.
yeah, you think of Victoria and David Beckham, they're a classic example. So they were probably satanic-y families. You know, because they're not all elite satanic families. You get really lower class satanic families, don't you? Like real council estate, rough as rats. It's a cancer throughout all of society.
Yeah.
And it's everywhere. So some of these people are going to be picked out from much lower classes as well. And then look at David and Victoria Beckham's children. They're clearly inverts. I mean, that daughter one, oh my God, she's so manly, isn't she?
Yeah.
You know, they wouldn't have a big chunky daughter like that, would they?
No, and the boys...
They'd have a pretty refined daughter.
One of them, I can't remember his name.
Oh, Romeo.
He's with the pink hair at the moment. Very, very pretty.
Very pretty. And was very pretty from the onset.
Yeah. And also Shiloh, she's another one.
Yeah.
Because they've actually... pictures of her were shown at birth as a boy.
Yes. And I had that. I forgot to share that. Yeah. And she had a willy, didn't she?
She had a willy, yeah. And then they said they'd had a daughter.
Yeah.
And then actually when you look at her, she's gone flip-flopped.
Yeah.
So she's obviously...
Well, they're using her as propaganda, aren't they, to normalise the transgender thing, which is awful. So they're making it out, it's only some children. It can't be all celebrities, because why would they show just this one person doing the transition? Again, it's all part of the psyop to keep us...
thinking that that's what's happening.
Yeah, that it's just a few people, you know. But no, they're all at it. They're all at it. They're all just very different to us.
Yeah, different species.
Thank fuck,
different species.
Thank God. I'm so glad I haven't got tits and cock and balls.
Well, I'm glad too, Tash. That would have freaked me right out.
Could you imagine? But I go, here, I've got a couple of balls in here.
Oh, I don't know what I would have said. I think I'd have been a bit lost for words, which is unusual for me.
Right, anyway, we're waffling.
Yeah, all right, guys, look, we'll see you next week. I don't know what we're doing next week. We had a couple of interviews coming up, but...
they've gone cold.
So there's a puppy drinking in the background. That's not a funny noise. So we will be back next week with something, won't we, Tash?
We will.
We'll decide near the time.
To say hello.
Yeah, Aurora's here.
She's
a
whole week
hello.
bigger, aren't you?
She is.
And she is so much bigger.
Aww.
She's sassy.
She's just woken up.
You've just woken up.
Hello, gorgeous.
Right, yes, we'll decide something for next week.
Yeah. All right, guys. See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.